Choppity chop chop, I am here. Yes, I am late. Well spotted, Rachel. Thank you for your contribution. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another live stream. And this evening, I'm not exactly sure if it's going to be a particularly long one, but I've highlighted some points from Eirian Powell's attendance at the Thirlwall Inquiry and some of her evidence. So we're going to go through about 19 or 20 slides regarding that. Now, we did try this, or something akin to this, back on the members-only stream a few days ago, and the transcript itself was an absolute bloody nightmare. So what I've done is I've highlighted some points of importance, I guess you could say, and we'll go along with those. We'll take a look at those in due course, and make our way through those 20 pages or so. Lucy Blue, welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Lenny Russell, as always, welcome, and thank you for your moderation this evening. Valor Hawks, welcome to you. I think we also had a little bit of an issue with the sound again during the members only stream. So do let me know if it seems to be dipping in and out. Hopefully it isn't, but we did have a little bit of an issue regarding that last time. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. It is Victoria. It truly is. Like I say, I got stuck in traffic, and then I realised my AirPods are on 15% battery. So that's fantastic, isn't it? So I had to quickly put a bit of life into those, and away we go. Alora Mack, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. Louisa, welcome to you. You would have been late if we were at the normal time of 7:30, but I was running a little bit late, so you've caught us just in time. Lisa, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. Beautifully Fractured, also known as Donna, welcome. But yeah, do let me know if it's if the sound is okay. Like I say, we seem to get that issue again where it's sort of dipping in and out, but hopefully we don't have that again. Mary C267, welcome. And also welcome to Lucy, who earlier on today became a member of the Crime Scene to Courtroom channel. Welcome. If you wish to support the channel or become a member yourself, you can find out how to do that down in the video description box below. Right, let's see if I've missed anyone else before we get started. Lindsay H, welcome. JB, welcome to you. Neil Hyde. Well, I know Neil's an avid viewer of the old Essex Boys stuff. We may well be doing a live stream regarding the Essex Boys tomorrow, potentially, but we'll discuss that a little bit later. Right, okay. Ms. Blackwell, welcome. Let's have a look here. Victoria, I've never waited for something so long. The stress has actually made me grey. Well, as I say, tonight is only going to be a short one. So, the idea is that we go through these 18 slides, and then what I might do, I might play the video of the inquiry. They actually released, I think it was the first day of the inquiry, they actually released a 4-hour video of what took place during the first day of the Thirlwall Inquiry. So I may start going through that, I may not. I'll see how I feel after I've done these 18 pages. Who else we got here? Bex Minster, welcome to you. And C. Neil. Right, okay. So anyway, firstly, let's deal with some facts regarding good old Lucy Letby. Right, let's just get rid of this comment here. So I discussed this during the last live, which was, as I say, the members only stream. But these are some facts regarding Lucy Letby and her time as a nurse. Okay, so what do we know about Lucy Letby and her nursing qualifications, etc. So, Lucy Letby failed her final year student nurse placement because she was cold and lacking empathy with patients and families. Now again, this was according to her assessor, Ms. Lightfoot. So I'm not saying that. That was her own assessor, okay? Just to put that out there. In her final report on the then University of Chester student in July 2011, Ms. Lightfoot wrote, "At the moment, Lucy requires much more support, prompting and supervision than I would expect at this stage to allow her to qualify as a competent practitioner." She said she found that Letby's clinical knowledge was, quote, "not where it should be," and that she struggled to retain information on medication dosages and to recognise side effects of common drugs. Right, so keep all this in mind as we go forward. She also gave a baby an apparent accidental overdose of morphine in 2013. And again, this is all factually documented, shall we say. Lucy Letby gave a baby 10 times the prescribed dose of morphine in error 2 years before her killing spree began, a public inquiry has heard. The nurse was then unhappy at being told she could no longer administer controlled drugs at the Countess of Chester Hospital after the incident in July 2013. She also gave a baby who wasn't prescribed them antibiotics. So anyone who's coming out with this idea that this is a super nurse really needs to, have their head read, to be perfectly honest. The inquiry heard in another instance in April 2016, Letby gave antibiotics to a baby that had not been prescribed them. In an internal document reflecting on what had happened, Letby wrote, "I feel this situation was unavoidable, and care was given to the best of our ability." Nicholas Della Poa KC, counsel to the inquiry, asked Ms. Farmer if that was an unavoidable error. She replied, "No, if it's not prescribed, I don't know why it was given." Mr. Della Poa asked if this showed poor insight by Letby, who replied, "Perhaps it was." Okay, so they're just a few snippets for anyone who claims that Lucy Letby is some kind of nursing goddess or something, or some sort of super nurse. That clearly wasn't the case. But what I find interesting about this is how it relates to her manager's opinion of Lucy Letby and the opinion she gave during her evidence at the Thirlwall Inquiry, which we'll get onto very shortly. Good evening to the legend, the man, the myth, the legend that is Essex True Crime. Welcome to you. Right, okay. John, welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. And Emma, EFC, welcome. Let's have a look. Okay, right, okie dokie. Right, so let's get on with this. These are some small snippets that I have taken from the Thirlwall Inquiry, and as I say, the evidence given by the then ward manager, Eirian Powell. So, now this is regarding patient complaints and treatment. So she was asked the following question. You tell us you also dealt with parent and visitor complaints, either directly or via the Parents' Advice and Liaison Service, PALS. She replies, yes. So again, everything in yellow here is Eirian Powell. Roughly in your time as manager, how many patients complained directly to you about service or patient safety, their babies? She replies, yes, there was quite a few. I can't recall their names, obviously. And then they say, no, I don't need names. She then says, no, but yes. They would come to the office and complain, or they would complain to a member of staff, and they would ask to come and speak to me. And did you document that kind of complaint, or was that treated informally, that they would come and see you directly at the time and you could deal with it in that way? She replies, gosh, I can't remember what we were doing at that point. It would be, if it was at all, it would be in the patient's notes. So if it was going to be anywhere, you would go back to that patient's notes and put it in there. She replies, yes. Would you speak to parents about them? If it was the parent making the complaint, presumably you would. Would you tell them what you thought about the complaint or what had happened? She replies, yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. How did you find PALS worked? Was that effective? It was. For bringing complaints? She replies, that was quite good because it came via electronic system, via email, and then you would get the information, the actual complaint, and then we would then research it or involve the people that were either being complained about or had more information about it. We have one complaint made via Powell's by one of the parents named on the indictment, the parents of child H. Can I ask you to have a look, please, on the screen? So this is INQ 0030106, page 2. Have a look at this, Miss Powell. This is an email from you to Dr. Gibbs and Yvonne Griffiths and a Belinda Simcock. And you are referring, if you have a look there, Brenda from Powell's came to speak to me this lunchtime to say that the family of baby H have put in a complaint. The complaint was the fact that there was no communication from the medical or nursing staff that their baby had been put on the ventilator. And you set out that Dr. Harkness spoke to the parents at approximately 11:30 to update them. Quote, "At no time did they voice any concerns." Presumably you mean to Dr. Harkness, and you continue further down to say, "Midwives are preparing to discharge Mum today. However, Nurse W is going to speak to them to allow her to stay longer. Brenda has conveyed this information to Dad. They are considering the offer." And you say this, "My question as an addendum is why has it taken Mum so long to come to the unit when she was aware how poorly her baby is? Just a thought. Especially as she is an inpatient or even asked a midwife to use her mobile for an update. Had you spoken yourself to the mother of child H? It appears that you hadn't, reading that." She replies, "I can't remember." "You can't remember?" She replies, "No, I cannot." She gave evidence to the inquiry that she was indeed in the unit having treatment herself, and she was having difficulty getting the midwives to take her down to the unit. And she wasn't getting mobile phone calls either from the unit. "You didn't find that out or know that?" She replies, "No, I didn't know." "Do you think you should have tried to find that out before making a comment on the complaint, finding out what she had to say about it?" She replies, "Well, yes. And instead it seems as though you are saying there, it's just a thought. Why hasn't she got there?" "What were you meaning by that?" She replies, I can't remember, but I wasn't. When was discharge? I can't remember it. I can't remember it at all, sorry. But it appears reading it, doesn't it? As though you are critical, or potentially critical, of her for not asking a midwife or using her mobile phone to get an update herself. You have turned it on to the person who's making the complaint. Why aren't they doing a bit more? Is that what you're trying to say there? She replies, "Well, no, I'm just trying to ascertain the information that I was getting from the complaint itself." If we look at page 1, Dr. Gibbs begins, "I'm sorry that child H parents were not informed reasonably promptly when she was ventilated." I'm sorry, that's what was needed. That's what that needed, didn't it? She replies, "Yes, I'm sorry." "You come down, your child is ventilated." It's very scary to see that, isn't it? She replies, "It is. It is a newborn. It is a newborn. You haven't seen it before. We are not all trained nurses to see this." She replies, "Yes." Then, "I'm sorry" would have been a nice response. She replies, "Yes." It doesn't necessarily cover the issues, but it's a start, isn't it? She replies, No, and to be fair, she should have been updated by, predominantly because it's a mechanical ventilation, she should have been updated by the doctors. However, if they were detained through stabilising the infant, then hopefully the nurse should have been able to go and speak to the parents and update them or ring them if they're at home. It's a combined effort, isn't it? She replies, "It is." "Nurses and doctors on the unit?" She replies, "Yes. The impression we got from parents giving evidence was that on the neonatal unit they could feel they were in the way, either asking about how their children were or what was going on." She replies, "That's sad to hear because that's not what we try to achieve." So really, I guess the key point there is that when she was faced with some kind of criticism or some kind of complaint, it was almost turned around on the mother. Let's just try and find that part again. "My question as an addendum is why has it taken Mum so long to come to the unit when she was aware how poorly her baby is? Just a thought. Especially as she is an inpatient or even asked a midwife to use her mobile for an update." So I guess that's the kind of attitude that they're sort of questioning there, isn't it? You know, why was there no apology to this mother. Why weren't you taking her complaint seriously instead of turning it around and almost making it appear as if it's her problem? She's complaining about something and it's actually her own issue that she's created somehow. But I don't know, it's just not a good look, is it really? Let's be honest. Right, okay. Let's just catch up with the chat a second, bear with me. Silky 567. Why can't people accept the possibility that Lucy is not guilty? We all know these institutions are corrupt. They'll do anything to cover up. I don't think it's the case that people won't entertain the possibility that she may be innocent, but where is the evidence of that? You know, I mean, if you scroll back, there was someone earlier who said Lucy Letby is innocent. I mean, that's like me saying the moon is made of cheese, isn't it? And, you know, unless you're going to actually provide something of substance that can back up your suggestion, why should people entertain something without any evidence? Now, if you can reply in the next message and give me your list of why you believe, or the new evidence that suggests that she is indeed innocent, then we can go through that. Absolutely. You guys are more interested in saying hi guys, than the topic. No, the chat is for social interactions, and obviously, and also as part of that, they can discuss what's going on in the video. But if you can just reply to my previous question, could you provide me with the information that you have that suggests that she is indeed innocent? Because this channel isn't about convincing people she's guilty, it's about looking at the evidence of her original trial. So I shall await your response, Ms. or Mr. Silky. Well, there you go, Neil. Me and you. It's just me and you and the cheesy moon. Oh dear. It makes me laugh because people come out with bold statements, but the statement is irrelevant. Like, if you have some information that can suggest that this individual has been put in prison unfairly or found guilty unfairly in some way, shape or form, can you tell me what the evidence is that suggests that? And then we can go through that. Let's have a look here. Michelle says that sounds appealing. I just don't understand. I tell you what I don't understand with this case is why there's so much aggression about it. Like, why is there so many people that are very angry? You know, if you create content that is looking at the facts of someone's case, and people get very irate. I don't understand why. If this was an opinion channel where I was sitting here, I hadn't followed the case, I didn't have the transcripts, I never attended the trial, like many of the prats that create videos on this case and just spouting off utter shite, then I could understand people being incredibly annoyed. But as I've done actually all three of those, or four of those, however many it was, then I don't really see the problem with that. I don't really see the problem in presenting the facts as they were told in court. It's not like I'm adding parts to it, is it? You know, it is what it is. Come on, Silky, hurry up. I haven't got much longer. I'm waiting for your response. Can you give me the information? I'll give you another 2 minutes before we carry on. But you've got 2 more minutes to give me your reasons why this person's innocent. We'll start the countdown. 120 seconds. You've got until 2024, and then we're moving on. You can't say, people can't say that I don't give people an opportunity to discuss Lucy's innocence. You've had 5 minutes and I've had no response yet. So, if you believe Lucy is innocent, please put in the chat box your reasons why you believe she is innocent. Right, let's just make sure I haven't missed anything before we continue onwards. Oh no, if someone's muted Silky Balls, can you get him back in? Because I want him to answer my question. Don't mute him or block him. I want him to answer my question. He's probably trying to respond and someone's muted him. Can I get him back? Hang on a second. Let me just have a look. Like I say, I've got no problem with people believing she's innocent. What I don't understand is people that believe she's innocent being very angry with people that cover the facts of her original case. It's like you want it to be hidden or something, which is a bit weird. A little bit weird. Silky has slid away. Yeah, come on, Silky Balls, hurry up. I haven't got all day, mate. I'll give you 1 more minute, and then I'm cracking on. Silky, where is he? I cannot see any of your comments. Yeah, has someone blocked Silky? Because I don't want anyone to block Silky or mute them. I want to see their response. So if you've blocked Silky, please go back and unblock them or unmute them. Maybe they've deleted their account. I don't know. Anyway. Did he fall out of the treehouse? Oh dear. Yeah, I'm not even after responses such as it's all circumstantial. I'm asking, what new evidence do you have to suggest that she's innocent? I'm not interested in it's circumstantial evidence, that's boring. I'm interested in what new evidence do you have that suggests that she's innocent? I'll entertain that. Right, okay, Silky Balls has not come back, so we shall continue onwards. May you RIP, Mr. Silky, and hopefully we'll meet again sometime soon. Well, you do once you've been found guilty, don't you? You need to provide evidence, or certainly new evidence in Lucy Letby's case, that suggests that she's innocent, because she's been found guilty. So you don't need to go through it all again to prove she's guilty, do you? But she does need to provide something to suggest that actually it's a miscarriage of justice and, the conviction's unsafe. But I haven't seen anything in terms of evidence that suggests that that's the case. She can't even get her stuff through to an appeal, can she? Because it's that poor. It's that piss poor. She can't even be granted an appeal. Let's be completely honest about it, It is what it is. Right, let's crack on. Okay, so the next point here. Right, so usage of mobile phones on the unit. I thought this was quite interesting because remember good old Lucy Letby during her trial said that everybody uses their phone on the unit. She messages while she's feeding babies. And she used to use her phone constantly, texting her mates, texting her colleagues, whilst she was on the unit, and even when she was looking after high dependency babies. So let's see what good old Eirian Powell has to say about that, shall we? The use of mobile phones on the unit. You address that at paragraph 41 in your statement, and you say the use of mobile phones evolved significantly over a relatively short period of time. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but she replies yes. What was your understanding in 2015 to 2016 about the rules about using a mobile phone at work? Or about work? She replies, well, on the unit, they were not meant to use their mobile phones on the unit. However, we were having difficulties with language line, and there were quite a few issues on the unit with regards to language barriers from international parents. So midwives were using the Translators app on their phone, and this was something that we actually thought we discussed, is this the way forward? We are a bit antiquated, and we are not e-tech savvy. That we should perhaps looking at this in a different way, should in fact be looking at this in a different way. Yes, how it can help us. And then she replies, yes, as in a helpful format. But I mean, as it happened, we got another 2 language line facilities, so that kind of eased that issue. But I guess we have moved on such an awful lot these days. I don't know what they do today, but at the time it was not to be used for personal use, that's for sure. And you weren't on, we have seen this is funny because she lies about this part, I've noticed. And you weren't on, we've seen WhatsApp groups with Letby and some managers. You were not on those groups, it wasn't your thing, messaging. She replies, no. Did you discover at the criminal trial how much messaging had taken place? Or did you not really follow the criminal trial and the details of that? She replies, there were a few messages that I did actually see, and that was one of my concerns, was the use of mobile phones within the unit as to, Yvonne set up a WhatsApp group for the off-duty, and it works really well. But sometimes it would come back with perhaps a statement, And I said, can we keep this to just staffing? Just, can you do it or can you not do it? It's simple, like just to do it in that way. And then here we go. Were you on the staffing one? She replies, yes, I was on the staffing one. Yes, whether you could work this or the other. So I kind of knew when there was a problem. But that was always my concern. So I felt justified in that's what I worried about when they did social groups of WhatsApp. I mean, God, how can anyone make any sense of this? I mean, they did it when they were going to go for a Christmas venue or whatever. Or where does that? To be very mindful of keeping it professional always, even for an event that was held outside the unit. Right, back to normality. So did you have that conversation widely with the nurses or some nurses? Or how did you set the tone? She replies, Yvonne would actually say on the WhatsApp to keep it professional. And that's enough to tell them to say, oh, hang on a minute, we shouldn't be discussing that. That should be done independently. Let's have a break there for 2 seconds. Let me just scroll up, scroll up just in case good old Silky's replied. I doubt it, but we'll have a look. Lindsay H, thank you very much for the £5 super sticker. Appreciate you condensing these questions from the Thirlwall Inquiry. Well, it would literally be impossible if I didn't, to be honest, because as I say, I tried to get through this the other day on the members only stream, and I made it through about 10 pages, and literally every page was like what I just read out. Where was it? Which part was it? This part here. There were a few messages that I did actually see, and that was one of my concerns. Was the use of mobile phones within the unit as to, Yvonne set up a WhatsApp group for the off-duty and it works really well. But sometimes it would come back with perhaps a statement, and I said, can we keep this to just staffing? Just, can you do it or can you not do it? It's simple. Like, just to do it that way. Literally everything was that disjointed. And I got about 10 pages in and I was just like, I literally cannot do 84 pages of this because I'll probably end up smashing my monitor, to be perfectly honest. No, I want Silky back in here. I want Silky to provide me with the answers. There has to be some people here that believe in Lucy Letby's innocence. So please tell me what new information that you have that suggests that this indeed is a miscarriage of justice. I can't see Woodstock. Are you sure Silky567 isn't blocked or on a timeout? I can't check it because I'm on my stream interface. I don't know if I can check it by going onto the actual... Oh, hang on. It's bloody blaring in my ears. 2 seconds. Let me check on the actual... live chat itself and see if I can see if there's a list of anybody. I don't think it gives you that option. Participants, community moderation. No, that's just about privileges. Just give me a second while I have a look at this a minute. Participants. Oh, no. Silky's not even in the list anymore for some reason, so I think they've just gone. I think Silky has vanished. Did anybody time out Silky or block them? If you did, just let me know. Moderation activity. Right, here we go. See if that brings it up. I think now I've turned it on. It only shows it from now onwards. It doesn't show me what's happened before, which is annoying. Oh, that's frustrating. Right, if anybody's timed out Silky, I just want to know so I can untime him out if possible. I don't think anyone did time Silky out. I think they've just disappeared. But if they come back, let me know. Right, I'm just going to scroll back through the chat and then we'll continue. Well remembered, Emma. No, I haven't. But now you've said that, let me just write it down this time. 2 seconds. Right, I'll do that afterwards. And I will update you. No, apparently Silky hasn't been muted. So anyway, let's continue onwards. We've had enough of the old Silky, so we'll continue. Right, where were we? Where were we? Where did we get up to? Was it this page or was it the next page? Yeah, it's here, wasn't it? Okay, so Eirian Powell said Yvonne would actually say on the WhatsApp to keep it professional, and that's enough to tell them to say, oh, hang on a minute, we shouldn't be discussing that. That should be done independently. Paragraph 42, you say, staff were permitted to have their phones with them in their lockers, but were not allowed to use them on the NNU, as this was both unprofessional and unsafe. If a nurse on duty was seen using their mobile phone, it would be reported to the ward manager or deputy ward manager. Well, it's funny that no one reported Lucy, isn't it? She was literally... Well, if anyone used their mobile phone more than she did, I'd be shocked. The member of staff would then be interviewed, and the interview would be documented. It would also be documented during NNU meetings and via email. An email to all staff would be sent out warning them about the use of mobile phones on the unit. Again, I don't need names, but can you remember dealing with anybody yourself about that issue? Or having a conversation with a staff member? She replies, there was one, yes. And I assume it wasn't Letby, it was a different one. She replies, no. So you spoke to one member of staff, and did that stop? Is that somebody that you had seen with a phone on the unit? She replies, sorry. Was it someone that you had seen with a phone on the unit? She replies, yes. So you had seen that for yourself? Yes. And you had the conversation with them? Yes. And did you see that again? No. So you were very clear, and that was the tone of the unit, that messages about work, patients, things that are matters within the unit shouldn't be being communicated. Yes. Did you expect ever... Did you ever... I think that's supposed to be, did you ever expect handover nurses to share some information about what they were coming into or leaving or not on a phone? She replies, well, no. I didn't expect any of them to be discussing it over the mobile phone. No. Right, so let's just pop that there. Just give me 2 seconds because I've got to put my AirPods back on charge. 2 seconds. Right, okay. Let's see how that works out. Okay. Right, hopefully the mic's still working because I've taken out my AirPods, but hopefully you can still hear me. I assume you can. Let's have a look here. Gladbert Gilbeys. Yeah, well, I mean, the only person to thank really for that is Lenny Russell and also David Zimmerman and also anyone else who has gifted memberships. It's mainly been Lenny Russell with his incessant amount of membership giftings. I think he's literally responsible for about 70% of the members, to be perfectly honest. Thank you, Ms. Blackwell. Thank you for clarifying that. Much appreciated. And JB, thank you. Right, okay. Right, let's move further forward. I'll leave that on charge for 5 minutes and then I'll pop them back in. Okay, so the next point of discussion, the conversation between Doctor and Eirian Powell concerning Letby's inappropriate comments. Now, this is quite interesting. We discussed this regarding the case of Child P. This was the incident where it's Dr. B, isn't it? I think, is it Dr. B? Yeah, Dr. B in the transcript, the court transcript, where she said that when the transport team were coming for Child P, I believe it was, Lucy turned around and said something to the effect of, he's not leaving here alive, is he? So that's basically what they're discussing here. And it's quite interesting, actually, that doctor actually made a complaint or actually brought up this issue with Eirian Powell at the time, which I didn't personally know. But anyway, let's continue. So Dr. B is known as Dr. V in the Thirlwall Inquiry. So Dr. V has told us that she also let you know that Letby made the remark to her that P wasn't going to get out alive. Do you remember her telling you that? She replies, I remember her saying that she did an inappropriate comment. She never said what it was. And I asked her, like what? And she said, well, I can't think now. I can't remember what it was. Now, do you genuinely believe that? That is utter bollocks. Do you genuinely think someone would go up to their manager and say, oh my God, Lucy's just said the most inappropriate thing. All right, what did she say? Well, I can't remember now. Of course she knows exactly what she said. Of course she was told exactly what Lucy said. But for whatever reason, she's got, that little bit of memory loss, quite similar to what Lucy Letby seems to suffer from time to time. I remember her saying that she did an inappropriate comment. She never said what it was. And I asked her, like what? And she said, well, I can't think now. I can't remember what it was. But I asked her what it was because I had come back. I was away at Glenclwyd at the time, and I came back on the Monday. And we had a senior clinicians meeting, and she told me after the meeting. Right, so you can remember all that detail, but she couldn't remember what the inappropriate comment was. Yet she could remember it when it came to trial. Many years later. Make it make sense, Eirian. It doesn't, does it? Right, so she was upset that it happened, and she said she wanted to tell you that remark. And are you saying she forgot in the final moment, having gone to see you about it, that she didn't say it? She replies, no, she said that she couldn't remember exactly what, because I said, like what? Well, it was like what? Well, I don't know, I can't remember. But she couldn't give me a definitive response. I just think that's a complete load of crap, to be honest. Now, let me know what you think about that. Would someone remember Or would someone even approach somebody and say, this person has made a really, really inappropriate comment? Well, okay, what was that then? And bearing in mind you're going to your, the ward manager here, not just your friend or associate, whatever. You're going to the ward manager and you're complaining about another colleague and you're saying they've made a really inappropriate comment. Would you even bother to do that if you couldn't remember what the inappropriate comment was? Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't. Insanity. So like a combination of Darren Nichols and Lucy Letby rolled into one. Absolutely. Let's have a look here. Right, okay. So what's the next topic? We're on page 12 now of 18. Right, we'll cover that one in a second. Just bear with me. Just going to go back through the chat, 2 seconds. There we go, got through half of it and I forgot to put the banner up. That's me all over that, isn't it? Yeah, don't worry, no, it's just, I always put it on mute when I go back and check through the chat so you're not listening to me going, and just not saying anything, basically. Right, okay. Miss Blackwell knows what's happening. She's on the ball. Right, okay. So, the next topic, shift leader approaching Eirian Powell regarding Lucy gravitating to the family room when child C was dying. Again, this was never something that I was aware of in terms of the shift leader actually making this official in some way, shape or form by then passing on this information to the then ward manager, Eirian Powell. I wasn't aware of that. But here we go. So, I believe this is still Rachel Langdale. Child C, you had already been approached, hadn't you, by Nurse W about Child C, and quote, Letby not looking after the baby she was allocated to, but keep winding her way back to Child C when she shouldn't have been. That was something Nurse W spoke to you about. She replies, yes, didn't she? And you say in your statement, it was really important that people stayed with their allocated babies. So again, this is a case when Lucy Letby was looking after a baby with, was it with the initials JE? I can't remember. It was a baby that wasn't on the indictment, basically. And Child C was in terminal decline for quite a number of hours. And Child C was in the family room with his parents. And Lucy kept going into the family room, right? And it got to a point where the shift leader had to literally pull her out of the room and say, you need to focus on your baby. I'm actually really concerned about JE because I think he or she had some sort of breathing issue. You need to focus on your own baby back in your nursery. And she said this happened 2 or 3 times, I think it was, from memory. So that's basically what's being referred to in this particular part here. So, and you say in your statement, it was really important that people stayed with their allocated babies. She replies, yes, you thought that was important. She replies, for an ITU and a high dependency baby, you don't move from that space. Nobody touches your baby without you knowing. Well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because didn't Lucy say during the trial that she would send text messages out of the unit when she was looking after high dependency babies, and it was okay to do that as long as someone was listening out for you? Oh my god. Super nurse. That's literally what she said, wasn't it? During her trial, she said, Nicholas Johnson said, what, you would even text when you were looking after a high dependency baby? She said, yeah. And he said, but you wouldn't leave the nursery, would you? And she said, yeah, I'd leave the nursery. I'd just tell someone to keep an ear out. Just listen for the monitors. That's not what you do, according to Eirian Powell. You don't move from that space. Nobody touches your baby without you knowing. So, next question. So, you were told by Nurse W that Letby did go and be with child C when she shouldn't have been. And she should have been looking after another baby that in fact Nurse W, a shift leader, was worried about. She told you about that, didn't she? She replies, yes. You must have realised at the time that that was a serious breach of your ward protocol. You are nodding, but yes, you had said people should stay with... She replies, yes it is. So what did you say to Letby about that, when Nurse W told you that, with child C, that is? She replies, that is why I asked Nurse W to do a datix and have it documented. But the datix, or datix, the datix I think is how it's pronounced, was about the other baby, presumably the one she was worried about. She replies, yes, because I didn't know about the other one. Yes? Yes. So that didn't deal with Letby, did it? The datix doesn't deal with the complaint that she was bringing to you. She was saying she felt angry at the time. She had been selfish. She wasn't obeying instructions. She was a law unto herself, effectively. That is what she was saying, wasn't she? She replies, yes. So did that worry you when she told you that? She replies, well, yes it did, because, again, it goes back on past experiences of when you were actually... She was, Nurse W, was a Band 5 that was promoted, not around that time to a Band 6. Was promoted not around that time to a Band 6, and therefore it takes a period of adjustment to actually get somebody to respect. That respect is very difficult to... So rather than questioning Nurse W's authority, can we question what Letby did, please? She replies, yes. And what you did with what she did? She replies, yes, so it would be that she wanted to go to work more with ITU babies, but this was a special care baby, I think it was, that she was to take time out from. So she told you she wanted to be in the ITU, not the special care baby unit. She replies, no, that's what the understanding. This was prior to this. This is why I think she was allocated to take time out, because she had been busy the night before with an ITU baby. See, she's got a way of never answering the bloody question, has she? I don't even know what she's going on about now. Okay, let's so back to the question. Right, so what did you say to Letby about the complaint Nurse W made to you? Did you sit down and speak to her? You have said you told her to do a datix. She replies, yes. Did you actually speak to Letby about the serious matter that Nurse W had reported to you? She replies, I have no recollection of it. I mean, this is just symptomatic of this, though, isn't it? Of her treatment. And it gets worse. This gets worse. So you've got a shift leader who is reporting a nurse has broke protocol. What else was it? And again, this is Eirian Powell's own definition of the protocol. This isn't the prosecution or the barristers making it up. This is what, Eirian Powell said herself. Where was it? One back, wasn't it? Two back. She was saying she felt angry at the time. She had been selfish. And again, they're referring to Nurse W felt angry. Lucy had been selfish. She wasn't obeying instructions. She was a law unto herself. That is what she was saying, wasn't she? Yes. And then, where was the bit about the protocol? Yeah, there we go. You must have realised at the time that was a serious breach of your ward protocol. You are nodding, but yes, you said people should stay with yes it is. Right. But then she just doesn't seem to really answer the question, does she? She sort of skirts around it and just talks about other stuff. I have no recollection of it, surprise, surprise. We don't see any reflections from her in it, so do we take from that you didn't speak to her about it? She replies, I am saying that this is 22nd. What date was it, sorry? The datix? She replies, the datix for the other baby we haven't looked at. We are looking at the datix for the other baby we haven't looked at. We are not looking at that baby. I'm looking at child C. So nurse W tells you about child C. If you look at your document, you've got the date of the death. It is actually the 14th, but it was overnight, June. Okay. So nurse W tells you promptly that she's not happy, yes, about that shift and the way Letby has behaved on that shift. She replies, I can't recall. Does that mean you didn't? And again, you didn't speak to her about it. You haven't pulled her up about this. You haven't discussed this with her. She replies, I can't recall. I'm sorry, I can't. I just cannot. There are some things that I have no recollection. and then the barrister says, is that selective, Ms. Powell? She replies, unless somebody is screaming at me, which I can remember, I cannot. When you say selective, I cannot. Dr. V's comment. She did say that to you, didn't she? Nurse W, I remember, because I said to do a datix. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm going back to Dr. V, who said this baby, she was worried about that baby. She said that to you. She replies, yes, but she was screaming to me at the time. That's why I remember that. So you remember her screaming? Yes, but you don't remember what she said? Well, no. She was saying that it was out of... She couldn't remember. Oh, it's another person who can't remember. It's another person who's got an issue who can't remember what the issue is. So we've already had the... this doctor came up to me and said, well, Lucy's made a very inappropriate comment. Well, okay. Well, what's the comment then? Well, I can't remember. And now we've got someone else who's complaining about Lucy's behaviour on a shift, and yet she screamed at her and then couldn't remember what the problem was. Well, no, she was saying that it was out of... She couldn't remember. And I said to her, then I can't help... Oh, this is so mad. This is madness. I'm right about that, aren't I? What I've just said? Didn't she just say 2 minutes ago, well, yeah, this doctor had an issue. This doctor had an issue because Lucy made a really inappropriate comment. Oh, okay. So when she approached you about that, what did she say? Did she tell you what the inappropriate comment was? No. Right, okay, so she's approached you telling you that someone's made an inappropriate comment. You're the ward manager. They've come up to you and said, by the way, Lucy Letby made a really inappropriate comment on my shift. Okay, and what did she say? Well, I can't remember. And now on this occasion, you've got another nurse who's complaining about Lucy being in the family room while the parents of child C cradle their dying baby, and she's not looking after her designated child. And yet when this individual, this medical professional on the ward, is raising this with the ward manager to the point where she's screaming at her, the person who is screaming then, by all accounts, can't remember what it's all about. She couldn't remember. Then I can't help if I don't know what she said. Oh, it's crazy. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, but when you come unstuck there, Ali, is when you think about what actually transpired. So before this, we heard about the doctor who said that Lucy had made an inappropriate comment saying something along the lines of, he's not getting out of here alive, is he? Yet Eirian Powell is saying when that doctor raised the issue with her, the doctor couldn't remember what she had said. Yet that doctor could then remember what she said years later when it came to trial. So who's lying? Was she told at the time? what Lucy said, it's most probable that she did, isn't it? Because that doctor could then remember it years after the event. So unless she's forgotten it very shortly after it actually happened and then remembered it years later, that's the only explanation, isn't it? Which doesn't make any sense. So the only person that can possibly be lying here is Eirian Powell. That's the only person that can be lying. Because the doctor was able to recall it when it came to trial. But she doesn't want to admit what she's heard, because then they're going to say, well, what did you do? What did you do about it? And she'll say, well, nothing. That's why she's saying, I can't remember it. I don't know if it happened or not, but I can't remember. Because she didn't do anything about it. She was protecting her mate's backside, wasn't she? That's quite obvious. Oh, dear. There's no proof of those words being spoken, but there's nothing to say it didn't happen either, because Lucy in court didn't contradict it. It was never disputed. Actually, there is proof that the second event happened with child C, because it was agreed evidence, which was agreed by the prosecution and the defence, and Lucy has to agree that evidence before it's signed off. So that most definitely happened, the situation with Lucy going into the family room, because she didn't dispute it. She disputed it in cross-examination because she realised it made her look bad. But she'd allowed it to be agreed evidence. So even though she had read what the parents had said, she'd read the statements, she signed them off as being truthful as far as she was aware, she didn't dispute it. So the child C situation, you have to say, with all things considered, is most likely accurate, isn't it? And in this situation, she said, well, she basically said in as many words, I'm not saying I didn't say it, but I can't remember saying it. But she didn't say, I never said that, I definitely never said that. And her barrister even gave her a reason why she said it, because it was an expression of concern. So if her barrister is providing a reason why she said it, and she can't remember what she said, how can you say that those weren't the words that were spoken? I mean, it's pretty small. It's a very small detail in the the grand scheme of things. It's a very, very small detail. I mean, really, this is about Eirian Powell's constant pandering to Lucy Letby. This is what this should be about, not so much about who said what. But I mean, anything that makes Eirian look bad, she's simply going to say she doesn't remember, isn't she? Because she hasn't written down anything. She's never disciplined Lucy in her life. Because Lucy, the sun shines out of Lucy's butthole, as far as Eirian Powell's concerned, and that's the facts of it. That's the cold, hard facts. Right, okay, let's continue onwards, shall we? All right. I mean, I just can't get over that. So you can remember someone screaming in your face, blah, 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 but she can't remember what she was complaining about. Right, okay. Why would she come to you and say, I can't remember anything? She replies, this was at a meeting, a senior clinicians meeting at the end of it. Did you speak in relation to Child C, to Nurse Ellis, Dr. Beach, Dr. Davis or Dr. Gibbs, about their level of surprise at the death of Child C? Did you have a conversation with them? She replies, I did not. Now, bearing in mind what we've gone through at the start of this video, the facts of Lucy Letby. Right, remember this? We don't need to go through it again, but this is quite important or quite hilarious actually, when it comes to the next point. So, Eirian Powell on recruiting Lucy Letby. When you were first interviewed by the police, you said that when Lucy had qualified, you had no qualms about employing her. Quote, even during her interview, although I can't remember much about it, I wanted her on the unit. I really did. When students come through the system, you are almost able to handpick the creme de la creme. And she was one of those. We've had evidence now that she failed and had to have a retrieval placement in her final year at university. She had the clinical incidents that we've just gone through, as I've just shown you on the screen there. And there was a period of 3 months where you understood she wasn't doing what other nurses who were qualified would be doing. How was it you came to describe her as creme de la creme with that history at that point? She replies, well, when the students come through on the unit, you get to know them. So basically, what she's going to say here, if you read between the lines, is this is someone that did what I told them to. That's the way I read it. Well, when the students come through on the unit, you get to know them because their placement is quite a lengthy placement. And those that don't want to be there are obvious. They have just got no interest whatsoever. But there are others that actually stand out. And I think we employed 3 from that same cohort. So bearing in mind all of Lucy Letby's shortcomings as a nurse, she was referred to by the ward manager during her, was that police interview? Yeah, in her police interview, she described Lucy as the creme de la creme of student nurses. What do you think of that? Creme de la creme. Unbelievable. Right, we've got a little bit further to go. We've got 2 more pages on here. And then that's going to be it for this evening. As I say, a very short one tonight. Tomorrow, it's not going to be a Lucy Letby stream. I'm not exactly sure when the Lucy Letby streams will be returning. I'll definitely be doing Lucy Letby stuff on the members only channel, or the members only stream, I should say. But unless something new comes out about Lucy Letby, I'm going to be covering some other stuff, some other cases, and possibly an Essex Boys stream as well, which I'm looking at doing. But I'll keep you up to date regarding that. But the members only stuff, I'll keep as definitely keep as Lucy Letby for the time being, because I know most of you have joined based off of the Lucy Letby case. So, but I do want to move on to something else. I am getting a little bit tired of dealing with this case and also the people involved in it. You know, it's getting very tedious for me. It really is. Right, okay. So the tea party arranged for Lucy's return. Moving on to a different topic, INQ 0058624, page 1. We know that Letby invoked a grievance procedure, and we'll come to that in a minute, but at the end of that, this letter is sent, or email is sent to you and others. Did you know this email was coming before you got it? She replies, no, I didn't. She says, quote, this is from Lucy Letby, I believe. As you can imagine, this whole episode has been extremely distressing for me and my family. I will begin my return to the unit in the coming weeks. I will need colleagues to be sensitive and supportive at this time. We know there was at least 1 tea party planned on the unit for her return, over a weekend. Are you aware what steps were taken to welcome her back to the unit? She replies, a tea party? It sounds more than it is, a cup of tea and a cake. And then the barrister says, it sounds like a tea party. A nice thing to do normally. She replies, but we did it if it was somebody's birthday. We did it if I wasn't... A celebration, something positive. She replies, sorry? A celebration, something positive, a nice thing to do. She replies, yes, they actually had a tea party for Lucy's return. And again, who facilitated all of this? I don't know. And this is probably Oh dear, this is probably the best of all. We'll save the best to last. Eirian Powell, RCPCH review. You were interviewed in the RCPCH review, weren't you? And also spoke about Letby. If we go to INQ 0014603, page 1, we see in the second section, quote, EP care issue taken line on LL, that it's felt to be unfounded, so this is talking about Lucy Letby, that it's felt to be unfounded, meticulous, high standards, good communication skills. Now that's completely the opposite to what her assessor said, isn't it? Other skills, key person to go to when needs someone to help. Yeah, she was someone who was your skivvy. That's why she was so liked by Eirian Powell, because she was Eirian Powell's little bitch girl, wasn't she? Like, would do all the extra shifts and work every hour that God sends. Other skills, key person to go to when someone needs someone to help. Felt not being honest with LL and others. Very upset by situation. Further down, Lucy Letby is clever, exceptional, very professional. Incident reports herself and her best friend too. Well, she actually blamed or tried to blame her best friend for killing one of the children in the case, didn't she? But then she revoked that. She took that back after a little while. Imposed the removal on her by doctors. And over to page 2 we have, over page 2, you refer to when babies die, you organise a debrief within a week. Always have hot debriefs. If any member of staff has had more than one incident in short space of time, they try to allow them to step back a little bit. Not always possible. So according to Eirian Powell, Lucy Letby was meticulous, high standards, good communication skills, clever, exceptional, very professional, instant reports herself and her best friend. Now, as I say, the reason why I feel that she was so, or she took such a shine to Lucy, is because Lucy would work all the hours that she was asked to. And that's very helpful for someone who doesn't particularly want to do very much and just sit on their backside eating custard creams. Do you know what I mean? That's my impression anyway. Well, there we go. There we go. What do we think of that, eh? What do we make of that? But I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? You know, the facts of Lucy Letby's time as a student tell you that she wasn't, and this is not bashing her for her intellect or anything like that at all. It's not calling that into question. But she was clearly struggling, wasn't she? She was struggling as a nurse. She wasn't some high flyer. She was struggling to, a lot of the times, to retain the information regarding the medicine dosage, medicine dosages or dosages. I guess that's the right word. She struggled with the issue regarding the antibiotics, giving antibiotics to a child who wasn't prescribed them. Gave a child 10 times the amount of morphine she should have done. She failed her final student placement. You know, she wasn't someone who sailed through, was she? Like top of the class kind of deal, not at all. But I just think that she was someone that did what Eirian said, and that's why she took a liking to her, because she knew that Lucy was someone that grasped on other people. She was a bit of a grass and grasped up her colleagues. We know that because she filled in datixes, reporting other people and all this sort of stuff. And she even says it there. Reports herself and her best friend too. So she was a good ear to the ground, and she also did all the work and more that she was supposed to. And I think that's why she was so valuable and looked at in such a shining way by the manager, because she was someone that did work and was a good ear to the ground. And they were personal friends as well, you know, don't forget that. They were personal friends. So, here we go. Right, as I say, I'm not entirely sure when the next Lucy Letby stream will be. If any further news comes out, any brand new news, then I'll be sure to bring it to you as per usual. But I do need to start getting some standalone content made on some other cases. I need to create something on something else, because this case is driving me slightly mad, to be perfectly honest. And I would just like to focus on something else for a week or so. So like I say, tomorrow night we may well do a Essex boy stream, or maybe look at a completely different case. And if anything does happen with the Letby case, I'll be sure to obviously do a live stream or a standalone video regarding that. And as per usual, the members streams will still be Lucy Letby transcripts and all that sort of stuff. So I'll definitely keep up with that for the member stuff. But for the next week or so, I want to look at something else. I just want to focus on something else other than Lucy Letby's a beige face, if possible. Thank you, John. Much appreciated. I'm glad that you share my optimism. But yeah, as I say, I'm not entirely sure what case it's going to be. I love doing the live streams. I love being able to interact with the viewers and, you know, catch up with you each and every night. But it's just, I've been covering this case for well over a year, 2 years probably, and I just want to venture onto something else. You know, bearing in mind, I've done 150 videos on this case. On the live streams alone, I've covered her 14 days of her defence and her cross-examination. And I just want to look at something else, whether that's the Essex boys for a week, whether that's something else or a completely different case. I just want to look at something else. If something brand new comes out, in terms of she's been charged with more murders or there's some amazing piece of information regarding her quote-unquote innocence, then absolutely we'll cover it. But yeah, I just want to try something else for a week or so and we'll see how we get on. But the members-only streams, which take place on a Saturday and a Sunday, they will still be Lucy Letby. So don't forget that. If you really, truly, desperately want the Lucy Letby stuff, you'll have to wait until Lenny Russell gifts you a membership. Oh dear. Yeah, I could do a poll. I may well do a poll. I may well do that. Keep an eye out on the page on the community tab tomorrow, and I may well put out a poll, and you can basically choose from there. Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, guys, let's have a look here. Anything with court transcripts? Anything with court transcripts or scientific evidence would be especially. I've got loads more transcripts of the Lucy Letby case, but there's too much of it, if that makes sense. Like the stuff I've got is like 184 pages. Like I can't sit here and do 184 pages of Dr. Marna Reedy's evidence. I'll be here till about 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, yes, I could split it up into sections, into smaller streams, but I just want to have a break from it. I've done this case for 2 years flat out, pretty much. And that's not to say I'm never going to cover it again. Of course I will. But I just want a little break from it, just for a few days, just to cover something else, refresh the old brain cells a little bit, and then we can come back to it. But as I say, on the weekend, we'll still be covering Lucy Letby on the members stream. So don't think it's just going to disappear completely. It won't. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you again to Lucy for becoming a member, and also for Lindsay H's kind £5 super sticker. Thank you very much. And to all of you who have tuned in this evening, I value each and every one of you. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. Many thanks for this evening, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now. I want to play the outro video, but I can't find it. I can't find the outro video. Hang on a minute. It's because I've labelled them all differently. Bear with me a second. Oh my god. Can't believe this. And I've also been downloading my back catalogue of other videos, so that's probably not helping the situation. Have I still got it on here? Or has it gone? No, I'm just going to have to say goodbye normally. Right, I'll see you all tomorrow. 7:30. Yeah, I'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.